Welcome to Walk Without the Talk with Justin and Jacob. I am your co-host, Justin.
I'm the host, Jacob.
The host.
The hostess of the mostest. With the mostest.
I was going to go with hostess of the mostest, but that works too.
I don't really have a lot. That's a lie. I do have a lot.
Fair enough. You have more than me. I want to objectively say you have more than me.
And hopefully in the move, I lose a lot of it. Because your boy is, I wouldn't say a hoarder, but...
Garage sales are a thing.
I don't think... Yeah. Yeah. You're not wrong.
Who's our fake sponsor for today? Our not sponsor.
A not sponsor?
Yeah, our fake not sponsor.
Hold on. Let me scroll through Facebook real fast and we'll find. Go back up. What do you... Hello? No. That one meme. That one change my mind meme. I want that guy to be our
Alright,
sponsor.
our non-sponsor today is the Change Your Mind meme. So, first off, as far as what will be going on in the background for today's talk, Jacob is going to be looking at the 5-star customer service representative job description page.
I'm trying to get a job.
He's working on getting a job. You must be at least 15 years of age.
Pass a drug screen and a criminal background. I don't know if I can do that last one.
You do have that bounty on your head for those 5 murders you committed in Callaway County.
Good thing that's the only ones they know about. But they'll never figure it out.
Or Loki was really thinking in my head, what if like the second this comes out, that joke is in terrible taste because something happens in Callaway County?
That kind of hurt.
That burp hurt.
Yeah. What a bitch. Oh, I got stuff trying to come back up.
Oh, you get a 401k and health
Holiday
and
pay.
dental and holiday. You get a bunch of shit that I don't get. I don't get workers.
Free sandwich and beverage program.
Look, I don't.
Free sandwiches.
Let me
that
point. Let me point at what I don't get. All right.
All right.
That.
You don't get benefits. You don't get benefits. That's it. No, you get paid.
The health and dental I don't get. The paid time off I don't get. The 401k I don't get.
You get holiday pay?
Yeah, I get holiday pay.
Oh wait, you work during the holidays.
No. I actually had off the holidays. Flexible scheduling. Nope. Shift and weekend differentials. What does that mean? I don't get that one.
I don't know. We can look it up.
Ladies and gentlemen, the point I want to get is that there's a lot of things I don't get.
Essentially, you don't get benefits.
Yeah, I don't get benefits. But basic. Okay, so hold on. Shift differential pay.
Read it out loud for the children.
What I'm doing. Shift differential pay is extra compensation for employees who work a less desirable. Yeah, no, hell no, I don't get that.
Oh, so like, if you're working like overnight, like all night, they pay you just a tad bit more?
Yeah.
Hell
I
yeah.
don't get that. The only thing on here that I actually get is holiday pays, because I am off on the holidays and I do get paid for it, and the weekly. Mine's bi-weekly, not weekly. So, that's the only thing in this entire list of benefits I have.
Is holiday pay?
Yeah. Everything else I don't have.
You know why?
Because I make more. I make $12.50 an hour.
All right, let's get started. But let's not talk about this the whole time.
Oh, you don't want to tell them all this juicy info about you as you're filling out this requirement? All this information? Do people not want to know that Jacob was born the 5th of May?
No.
Oh, no. I read that wrong. He was born the 23rd of May.
The 5th of May.
Because I had the 5-May.
Shit, only 25 minutes to complete this?
That's like a quarter of this podcast. So in nerd news, because that's all I have to really bring to the table.
Another one there. Sorry.
Right, yeah. In nerd news, did you ever watch the Clone Wars?
That
show on Cartoon Network?
I watched bits and pieces when I was little.
They've got a final season coming out in February. And I personally think it's damage control to make up for how much the last movie was a failure. How much it was like no one liked it.
The last movie, like
Rise of Skywalker. How bad Rise of Skywalker was.
It wasn't bad.
It was. It seemed to have been frowned upon more than Last Jedi. Like Last Jedi, it wasn't. It took me a second to realize what you put in. But Last Jedi, oh man, that was a you either really liked it or you hated it.
40?
What?
40? Yeah, that's what I want, right?
Yes.
That's full time, right?
Yes, it's full time. No, Last Jedi was either you liked it or you hated it. There was no middle ground. And then this was either you either tolerate it or you hate it. That's why I think publicly Rise of Skywalker did significantly worse than Last Jedi.
Which one was the Last Jedi? That what happened in that again?
Last Jedi was the one where the God, it's so forgettable. Okay, so they found Luke Skywalker.
Yes.
Because he had gone off into exile because he tried to raise a bunch of younglings and tried to restart the Jedi Order, but he failed. So he went into hiding to mope and pout about it.
I mean, yeah, if you gather a bunch of children and then they all just yeeted, I would kind of be like, well, damn.
But anyways, he failed to. I'm paraphrasing, of course. But he went into exile. They found him. And they were like, hey, the First Order is basically the Empire again. We need your help to defeat it. And he's like, no, I don't want to. And Rey's just like, well, shit, what am I supposed to do now? So,
I do remember that.
Okay, so yeah, she basically said, well, she was like, I'm not leaving without you. So she spends the most of the movie on the island, or on the island on the planet that he's on. Spending most of the movie to try to get him to go with her to go fight the First Order.
Yeah.
And once it's clear that he won't go do the fighting, Rey's like, well, at least teach me, make me a better Jedi so I can go do it. So she spends most of the movie doing that. Meanwhile, Poe, the pilot, and Finn, the ex-stormtrooper, they're all with the rest of the rebellion who is fleeing the First Order because their base was discovered and their base was destroyed. So they're currently fleeing from the First Order, and then suddenly they were found. And apparently the First Order had technology where you know what hyperspace jumping is, right? Where you just like everything goes.
Yeah.
Okay. Apparently the First Order had technology that could track them through even that. They couldn't
I remember that.
They couldn't just hyper jump away. I was like, oh shit, our main way of getting out of a pinch is done. We can't run away from this. What do we do? So they just put all the energy in their. They just put all the energy on their ships into their shields to make them, last longer against being bombarded. And they were just like, okay, we have to buy time. So this huge First Order fleet was just like throwing pot shots at them over and over until eventually they wore down the shields. And once they wore down the shields, they would destroy the ships. But they're picking off the rebellion ships one by one until the last ship is left. The entire rebellion is on this ship. It gets destroyed, the entire rebellion is gone. So Poe is like, okay, we need to find an idea. We need to find a way to get rid of these ships. So Poe, in some Rose, which is like one of the most hated characters of The Last Jedi,
Rose?
Yeah, Rose. No one likes Rose.
Which one, Rose?
Rose was the Asian chick that was supposed to be Finn's love interest.
Oh, yeah,
no one likes her.
Because they want... yeah, okay, yeah.
The biggest reason no one likes her is because of the fact that Finn was going to, sacrifice himself to buy the rebellion more time. because he was going to stop that laser from cutting into the bunker.
Yeah.
And if they weren't able to cut into the bunker, you know, if they didn't cut the bunker open, they had a good fighting chance. Because with the bunker being...
I can't focus on this right now.
With the bunker not being penetrated, they could funnel them into a choke point and have a much better chance of fighting back.
Yeah.
But she was like, no, I love you too much, so I'm going to stop you from killing yourself. But it's like he was literally going to sacrifice himself to save the rebellion. It would have been a good death for the character. All right, it would have been a heroic, meaningful sacrifice. But instead, just because she wants to get some dick, she intervenes and prevents him from crashing into the bunker busting laser. And then the bunker gets busted. But they're lucky because Rey gets there in time and uses the Force to move rocks or whatever to get the rebellion out. But they didn't know that was going to happen. They figured they were going to have to dig in and fight until help came. Like the rest of the rebellion came.
Yeah.
Or resistance.
You really remembered this movie.
Yeah.
For a movie that you made the joke, it's so forgettable. You
here's
really
the thing about me.
this movie.
It takes a second for me to actually remember something, but once I remember, it's just a train of it all comes back to me now.
Fair enough.
But it takes a second to kind of start that engine up, but once it gets going, it can maintain until I get to the end. So, what was I saying? Okay, so anyways, Poe goes on the sub. So, backtracking a little bit, Poe goes through that thing where he and Rose go to try and find someone that can help them disable the First Order's ability to track them through hyperspace.
Yeah.
They find a guy who's a smuggler who can do it. They hire him. Finn, the smuggler, and Rose sneak up on the First Order ship, but then the smuggler betrays them.
Dun dun. Dun.
Yeah, spoiler alert, the criminal betrays them. Big shocker. But anyways, point is, the whole thing goes to shit, and the rebellion almost gets killed. Almost gets destroyed. But the captain, that was the newly elected general of the rebellion, the resistance, because Leia was unconscious at the moment, the at the moment leader of the resistance was like, I have a plan, but I'm not going to tell anyone of it. She had a plan, but she didn't tell anyone. And because she didn't tell anyone, Poe freaked out and was like, our leader doesn't have a plan. If we don't act now, the entire resistance is going to be lost. I'm taking matters into my own hands. So that's why he sent Poe and Rose to go do that. But because he panicked and sent Rose and Poe to do that, they messed up, were betrayed by the smuggler, and then the smuggler reveals the resistance's real plan, which was to have transport ships take the rebellion to that planet where the bunker is.
Yeah.
That was the resistance leader's whole plan, was like to use cloaking to make those ships invisible. But the smuggler betrayed them, told the First Order, hey, they're secret. The smuggler betrayed them.
The Forced Order. Justin, I miss your puns. Unrelated. Continue.
Yeah, they were forced because they were both. You can make the joke that they were the Forced Order because the idea of the First Order was forced in because they couldn't think of anything original, so they just repeated the Empire again instead of making a new original enemy.
Oh, well, fair enough.
Anyways,
I mean, I know Star Wars, but I don't know enough to go that deep into it.
I don't know why, but I've randomly been on a really big Star Wars kick. I really found it interesting.
Well, no, hold on now. You can't just start this whole tangent. Where did this tangent? Oh,
you want me to finish talking about the movie?
No, you don't gotta finish the movie. Where did this tangent start? Because I feel like there was a reason you were explaining on the movie. Oh yeah, it's because they hated. They
yeah, why they hated it. Okay. And I got to the point, and then it got to the point where I was like, well, for me to explain why people didn't care for it, I have to explain what happens in the movie. That's why at first I pretty much got into this moment. Like, here, let me tell you basically what happens throughout this entire movie. But anyways, all right, so I'm gonna finish saying what happens in the movie, then I can go back and say this is why these moments made the majority of people seem to not like the movie.
Yeah.
So anyways, The smuggler betrays them, says, hey, the First Order's using this cloaking thing to make the transport ships invisible. They're going to the surface right now. So the First Order starts taking pot shots and shooting the transport ships that are full of people.
Yeah.
So the captain, the currently acting leader of the resistance, I forgot her name because she's that forgettable. Purple hair lady is all I know. I'm just going to call her that because that was the only memorable thing about her was the fact that she was a lady that had purple hair. That's it. Her character was so forgettable. But anyways, purple hair lady takes the rebellion's last ship, turns it around to face the armada of the First Order, and does the only cool thing in this movie.
Oh, is it that? That's when they teleport into the... Is that what that scene is?
She uses the hyperspace jump, to cut through all the ships.
Yeah, I remember that.
And that scene was beautiful.
Yeah.
For such a shitty movie.
I remember watching that.
It was a beautiful
I
scene.
do remember that scene because I was in the theaters and I was like, because it just got quiet and it was like, there's no sound in space.
Yeah, it's like the equivalent of like a nuke scene in a movie, like how things get quiet and you just hear the.
Yeah.
It was like that, but in space.
That was pretty cool, actually.
But anyways, so she does that little kamikaze attack to buy the rebellion time, the rest of the transport's time to get onto the surface of the planet. Meanwhile, while that's been going on, Rey finally convinced Luke Skywalker to teach her how to be a Jedi. You know, yada da 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 da. And eventually, and as Luke is teaching Rey to be a Jedi, he reveals to Rey why his attempt to rebuild the Jedi Order failed. Because Kylo Ren, technically Ben Solo, when he was still Ben Solo, Han Solo's son, he sensed something powerful in him, and he sensed a potential connection to the dark side. Luke Skywalker made the mistake of, he might go to the dark side, so I should just kill him now before he gets the chance. But Ben's a kid.
Yeah.
So, like, he lights up his lightsaber and has the single moment where he's like, maybe I should kill him before he has the chance to turn the dark side. But then Luke Skywalker goes, what am I doing? He's just a kid. But it's too late because he's sitting there with the lightsaber lit.
I remember that.
And Ben is looking up with him with the lightsaber lit. So Ben thought he was in the moment of striking him. So Ben freaks out, pulls his lightsaber out, clashes with Luke, and through his anger releases like this force explosion.
Yeah, I remember that.
That right there is the only cool, like, good storytelling point in the entire movie. That single moment is like, I like that storytelling. Like, that was good storytelling.
I think it just reinforced that Kylo's kind of a bitch.
But think about it, though. He was a kid at the time, and Luke was sitting over there with a lightsaber. As you know, he saw that he originally had the intention to kill him. This movie had the potential to finally get rid of the Jedi and the Sith. It had the potential. The whole thing about this movie was in the trailers before it came out was Luke saying, it's time for the Jedi to end. We could have been done with both the Jedi and the Sith, because the biggest problem with the Jedi and the Sith is that the Jedi are too far one way and the Sith are too far to the other. That's their biggest issues. So if we could have actually gotten rid of those two, like if this movie would have gone through with that and said, look, the Jedi are over, the Sith are over, there's no longer these lines in the sands, white and black aspects on the Force. If we could have actually gotten rid of that, we would have had a compelling movie. Anyways.
No, I'm trying to think, because at the end of the movie, it showed the Rey, the new movie, Rey with the whole yellow lightsaber or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's supposed to represent something like...
Well, yellow lightsabers aren't a sign of something that's not Jedi.
I know.
Because the temple guards, just the Jedi guards at the Jedi temple way back in the prequel movies, they used golden lightsabers. And they were the only thing that made them special was the fact that they were just the guards of the Jedi temple.
That was the wrong card. Fudge nuggets. I mean, Yeah. So wait, does that just make Rey a Jedi guard?
Well, no, I'm just talking about the color
Like-
of the lightsaber. Gold was, because like the
Yeah,
color
but
of a
use
lightsaber.
They use
does,
it to represent what that person's about.
Yeah.
So it's just like, oh no, Rey is now a guardian of the Jedi way. Is that all that means?
No, I don't think the color was supposed to have any significance.
I do.
Um,
Otherwise, they went out of the way to put in the fucking.
At this point, I don't think it does though. It used to back when the Jedi Order was a big thing, because blue used to mean the strength of a fighter, green used to mean their wisdom and their connection to the Force. The green meant wiser, blue meant a better fighter. So, like, if their lightsaber was green, it meant they weren't that great at lightsaber fighting, but they were strong with the Force. Blue meant they weren't that great with the Force, but they were really good at lightsaber fighting. Dex users versus wisdom users is basically what the color of your lightsaber meant. If you had a green lightsaber, your wisdom was your highest score, your highest stat. If blue was your lightsaber color, it meant Dex was your highest thing. But
and I guess yellow is just like
yellow. I'm not for sure what yellow meant. All I know is yellow was used by the guards of the Jedi Temple.
So strength.
Maybe, I don't know. And I don't know what was up with Mace Windu, why he got purple. I don't think, because like behind the scenes, I know it was literally just because Samuel L. Jackson said he wanted one.
I think if I remember, that was yellow. Purple meant the meaning is where you were like wavering between you. He used the dark side along with, like, he used the power of. He overcame the dark side, but still using its strength in a way. I don't know how to describe the way what I heard.
I'm curious as where you heard it from.
I've watched a lot of videos.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, that doesn't sound like it's without a...
But
maybe
I'm not wording it
so
right.
So maybe purple means like they were at first about to become a user of the dark side of the Force, but they overcame that through their own will, and at the last second converted to the light side. Like they were on the dark path, but then through their own will shifted to the light path.
Essentially, yes. Okay. But like,
because Mace Windu has always been made out to be one of, if not, like, one of the most powerful Jedi Masters. Like, Mace Windu was, like, super powerful. He beat Palpatine. The only reason he died was because Anakin, at the last second, betrayed him. That's the only reason. He beat the Palpatine, the most powerful Sith at that time.
Yes.
He beat the Sith. Because remember, the whole rule about the Sith is there's two, the Master and the Apprentice. And he beat that time period's Sith Master. So he was more powerful than the dark side. That's how powerful Mace Windu was. He was able to beat the Sith Master on his own. Because all of his little guys who went with him to go fight Palpatine, they all got killed off super quickly.
Yeah.
But no, Mace Windu on his own, just like, nah, I'm into this here and now. But yeah, my favorite character has always been Obi-Wan, though. Like, my favorite Jedi has always been Obi-Wan. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm a big clone fan. I find the clones so cool.
I know you do, you grunt.
For someone who's not an 11 Bravo, apparently. You always act like I am like a hardcore 11 Bravo stand.
I don't know, you are kind of grunty. You're a defective grunty, but a grunty.
I'm a grunty that just has shit cardio. I just can't run with. But,
Oh, wow. I can do both.
What was I gonna say? Well, of course you can do both. You're not the one that has to go back and do it again. I'm the one that has to go back and do it again.
Yo, I almost did.
You almost did. Because I remember you telling me, like, I got the letters and heard from you about how you were struggling with that.
Yeah.
You didn't, like, overcome it till the very end.
Oh, we're talking about basic, by the way.
Oh, I figured. I highly doubt this is their first podcast, so they know that we both went to basic training.
Well, dude.
But anyway,
shut up.
Pulling it back to Star Wars, because that's my thing that I've been really getting into lately. As far as clones, my favorite clone trooper is Captain Rex. Captain Rex is so cool.
What does he do again?
He was Anakin's right-hand man. Like, he was the clone trooper that was Anakin's, like, he was over the 501st.
Yeah.
Which was, the 501st were the clone troopers that were specifically under Anakin's command. Which is any clone trooper that had blue stripes on his armor.
Yeah.
White, golden stripes? I can't remember the name of their, legion. But all I know is the golden stripes were underneath Obi-Wan's command, and green stripes were underneath Mace Windu's command. Gray stripes were underneath Plo Koon's command. And Plo Koon was the Jedi Master who had the weird little breathing apparatus that had the two little things that came down like this, like spider legs almost.
I'm trying to think. I doesn't ring a bell.
He was never a character in the movies. He was only a character in Clone Wars. Yeah, I've always liked, and what I really liked about the clones was, so you know how like in the movies, the whole thing about the clones is that the Emperor made them to betray the Jedi.
Yes.
Like he had like mind chips.
This chip.
There's a small number of clones that before the order was fulfilled, like before the order was made, they removed that chip. So they didn't commit Order 66, and they stayed, loyal. They didn't join the Empire.
Defective chip.
Well, it wasn't that their chips were defective, it's that they willingly removed them.
Defective chip.
Right. Well, I guess it's kind of defective when you yourself have carved it out of your head.
Yanked it.
Yeah, but I always liked the idea that, like, whenever I found that out, I was like, yes, because that means that there was clones that whenever the Empire versus Rebellion was going on, that means that there was clones that joined the Rebellion and fought against the Empire. Because I was always like, the clones are the old-fashioned soldiers, whereas the Empire was the new, sleek, you know... Oh, we're fancy, we're more advanced. The clones are the old, gritty, old-school soldiers. So I always liked the things... Because, like, in Star Wars Rebels, you have these moments where clone troopers, they removed their chips and they sided with the rebellion. And there's moments where the clone troopers are fighting the stormtroopers. So it's these old-ass grunts fighting these new, sleek, fancy soldiers. And I love those moments because the clones are just handing these stormtroopers their ass.
Well, I mean...
Because, age comes experience.
Yeah.
It's like if you and me went up against two retired soldiers in paintball or something, they would most likely kick our ass. Because they've had way more experience.
That just goes with anything, honestly.
No, yeah, I know. That applies to literally anything in life. With experience, with age comes experience. With experience comes you usually winning. But anyways, what was I getting? This whole tangent, I can't even remember what it was. Because like I said, I've been getting a lot more into Star Wars. That's been my fictional outlet when I'm not at work or, getting things in order that are...
Life?
Yeah. When I have my moments that I can do, have entertainment and do things for fun, that's when I've been spending looking into Star Wars. Because I don't know why, but recently I've been finding it very interesting. That and SCP. Which the complete difference between those two things is, like, funny. And how completely opposite they are, but completely different they are. But SCP's got a really, really cool history to it. Because remember how the last time we did this, I told you about the GOP?
Yes.
Supposedly, like, from what I understand, from the videos I've watched, the GOP and the SCP Foundation are about to, like, break out in a full-scale war.
Isn't SCP just basically run by the fan base?
Yeah. It is. From what I understand, it is the lore and everything it is made from the fans.
Yeah.
They kind of create the lore, and everything that's going on. Which
I think that's kind of cool. But
oh yeah. Which, granted, when you have something like that, you do run into the problem of non-cohesive storytelling.
Well,
but that can be overcame.
Yeah, especially when the fan base is strong enough to be like, we don't accept this part of the story.
Exactly. When you leave it in the hands of the fans, you have a problem with determining what's canon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got a question. Can I take this with me?
Like on the road?
Yep.
Yeah.
Where?
Would you like a 3x3 too?
You what?
Would you like a 3x3 and a Mega Mings? You can only just take a whole bag of Rubik's Cubes.
There's a lot of Rubik's Cubes.
This is the only one I know how to solve.
Yeah, but you can learn. You're gonna be there.
That's
You're gonna have a lot
lot
of free time.
I know.
And I have a lot of extra.
Okay.
On the road again. I can't wait to get on the road again.
Is it my turn yet?
Oh yeah, I forgot. In my tangent, I'm talking about Star Wars. I forgot to inform you all that a while ago, the background thing that had changed to Jacob playing Magic the Gathering because he's a nerd.
I am, but now you can kind of see how my brain works.
Granted, though, this is still remaining a
I was talking to you, Justin.
podcast.
I don't care if they know me.
This is no longer. This still isn't a Let's Play.
No, it is not, and I refuse to let it be that.
We will, once we're working on securing our own home,
yeah, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure, I'll inform the masses. So, as far as plans for stuff that we want to make and put on YouTube, there are things that we want to try, and we want to work on creating. Like, we want to do a gaming channel, because we talked about, before we both started, our processes of getting into the military, we talked about how we thought it would be really fun to start a gaming channel and stuff like that, because everyone else does it and they have so much fun with it. We figured we could give it a try, and we've came to the decision that we want to. Here soon, we're working on getting a place, and once we get that place, me and him want to start a actual gaming channel. And what we will do is we will continue to, I believe, post the podcast on here.
Once we have our own space and all that, I'll make the time to switch everything over.
Okay, yeah, we will have new channels in one or two. Just one or two. We're just gonna have one new channel, put everything on it.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. We're gonna have a new channel, and everything that's on this channel will be just basically moved over to that.
Well,
one.
audio wise, I'm still gonna keep this channel for like skating purposes.
Yes, yeah. So like those of you that listen, that are only subscribed here for the skating videos. Granted, it is a little discouraging that we have not yet gotten a single comment on any of the videos that you have posted that aren't the skating videos.
The skating videos have been out longer, and the fan base for those are.
I mean, granted though,
Most of the comments in that. Well, I mean, we got D&D.
the only comment on that one was Corbin asking to join, and you still never got back to him on that.
Shit, you're right.
Corbin, if you're listening,
I am so sorry.
it's just Jacob's lack of.
There's been a lot going on.
There has been a lot. I usually I make fun of Jacob for forgetting things, but even in this moment, I'm gonna say, I understand he forgot. But yeah, no. That is something we are gonna work on getting started. It is a dedicated gaming channel. We've been thinking about what we want to do as far as the first playthrough. I think the decision was BioShock was gonna be the first series we do a playthrough of.
Yeah, we can do that. We can probably do the whole series since I know the game like the back of my hand. We can get through it
Granted,
quite quick, but still enjoy the game.
I played 2. I did not play. I didn't play 2. I played 1 and Infinite.
Did you play all the way through 1?
Yep, I played all the way through 1 and Infinite, but I did not play 2.
2 is my favorite gameplay wise. Story wise, I'd say 3.
3 is one of the best story games ever.
Yeah, because you join in and like, okay, essentially the plot of the games is underwater utopia gone wrong, but then you all of a sudden you're thrown into the sky, and it's nothing like the first 2, and then all of a sudden at the end it's like, boom, big mental mind bone.
Like, the third movie, or not the third movie, the third game takes the entire franchise to a level of sci-fi that not even the other two were on.
No, like, I honestly kind of want to look into why it's like that compared to the other two. How it just went from like 0 to 100 like that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the first two games are bad. It's just
no.
compared. It's like why is this the direction they took?
Yeah, this is basically the BioShock series went from the first movie being about social commentary on how trying to create a perfect civilization isolated from the regular parts of the world can go wrong when you expect to be perfect and you try to reject all forms of expression of your personal beliefs. We went from that to the third one being multiverse. This is like the cosmic levels of
the third one. It did that too. It's just it took it in such a weird direction because like you're playing through and you're like, oh, this is kind of like the first two, but in the sky.
Yeah, it's just.
But then as you play the game, bits and pieces are like, wait, this doesn't make sense. Wait, what is this?
It started off as social commentary, just like the first one, but it ended up being commentary on the machinations of multiverse theory and the fact that cosmic. It was almost in a way a cosmic horror. Not in the sense of eldritch beast, eldritch monsters lying in space. It was cosmic horror in the aspect of there are multiple universes, and there are many out there where you make terrible decisions, and this could be one of them.
Yeah, it was really
It went from social horror to cosmic horror.
What was the name of that old show?
Layman's words, in Jacob's terms, 0 to 100 real quick.
What was the name of that show? The scary show way back when?
Twilight.
It was really Twilight Zone film.
Yeah. Granted, I don't know how Twilight Zone wasn't cosmic horror. It was just.
Well, I mean, it felt like an episode of Twilight.
Oh yeah. There's also a really good song.
Twilight Zone?
Yeah, have you never heard it? Turn to the Twilight Zone, places a madhouse, feels like being cloned. I keep no reason for dragging me on. Help, I'm taken to the Twilight Zone.
I've never heard it.
It's slipping. It's help, I'm slipping into the Twilight Zone. Places a madhouse, feels like being cloned.
Nope. Not one bit, Justin. Not one bit.
On an unrelated note, I feel like if I dedicated time to it, I could become a decent singer.
I mean, sure.
I think I have the voice that could be trained to become a singer.
Oh, yeah, you have the voice of a god.
I have the vocals that are capable for taming. That's a lot of cards.
Yeah.
I still don't understand. My friend Jacob here tried to show me once how to play Magic the Gathering, and it did not click with me at all. I know it. I had no idea
You
how
gonna
to
throw up
play
there?
it.
You fine, buddy?
Yeah, I just had a hiccup. I had no idea how to play it. He believes that he finds that super weird because I played Yu-Gi-Oh when I was a kid, and he thinks Yu-Gi-Oh is more complicated than this.
It is.
It's not. Yu-Gi-Oh is so much simpler than this.
No, you just started playing that game and got a better grasp of that game before you did this game.
Granted, doesn't this... You've told me before that this actually has a story to it, right?
Mm-hmm. It has a constant running story, yeah.
And how's that story told? In the form of comics? In the form of...
Through the cards. They have small videos that they've started. They have little comics. I believe they have little comics. But, yeah, essentially you throw the whole story together through...
Okay, so it almost has a Dark Souls level of storytelling. Where
you really got to look into it.
You got to read the description of everything and then put it in the right chronological order.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will respect it for having anything that has a Dark Souls level style of storytelling. I will respect.
I mean, it's good enough for like the I don't know. They have a whole book for D&D of the game. Like,
oh really?
It's set in a world of this.
Right.
I can't word, but
granted, I've been talking about how like at some point, because I run a D&D campaign. I too am a nerd. Shocker.
Dun dun.
And the D&D campaign that I run right now is, in the words of Jay, a guy who's been playing D&D for like 20 years, he said that my world is very unorthodox. and it's not a standard D&D world at all because it's set in like the 50s or something. I've basically given it like a 50s.
Your entire world is a homebrew.
Yeah, oh my gosh. If there's one thing I have proven is that I'm a big homebrew guy. I love making shit. I love making mechanics. Maybe that's a sign that I would be good in the gaming industry, creating games, because of the fact I like making entirely new mechanics.
Yeah, you're not a bad storyteller. It's just,
And that's what I think I like more. I like that more than the mechanical parts. Granted, the mechanical parts I only have to work with those simply just because that's how the game works. But I have much more fun writing the story stuff and creating the characters than I do the. On an unrelated note, Jacob just is freaking out, and I don't know why. Was that good or bad? Because your jaw dropped, and
I'm making big boy moves. Sorry.
He's out here playing these games.
I'm making real big moves.
Yeah, I just realized.
What?
On another unrelated note, I might just crash here since we're going to turn around and go place hunting tomorrow.
Oh, no, that's fine.
I mean, there's no sense in, like, if I'm going to turn and come back, there's no...
Yeah, you want to explain, like, the living situation in place? Stuff like that? How we're looking for a house and all that?
If anyone in this area...
I just forced them to quit, by the way. Like, I forced that quit. Bravo. My brain was like from like stupid to a whole nother level when I play this game. Sorry.
My brain. I lost track. What was it? What were we talking about?
I don't know. What were we talking about?
Oh, D&D. Because I was gonna ask you a question. You personally, you have experience. Like, you've experienced me DMing, and granted, you have said that in the mornings you usually don't contribute because you're super tired. But you've also said, granted, recently you've been on a better sleeping schedule, so
which was thrown off completely trying to play Dark Souls with you. I want you to know that. That completely took my sleeping schedule, and yours is set up to where like you got to like wake up and do certain stuff. But mine's on like.
Because here's the I don't
do anything.
I don't go to work till around 3 p.m. and I don't get home till around 1 a.m. That's just
but like. I'm do nothing, so like if my sleeping schedule's ass backwards, it's not like somebody's waking me up to do something.
Yeah,
so
here's the thing, it's gonna change even more because of the fact that here soon I'm gonna be starting work at 5 p.m. instead of 3 p.m. But the thing I wanted to ask you was, you've experienced my DMing enough. What would you say is the best thing about me as a storyteller? What would you think I'm the best at? Is it like the quality of my characters? Is it the overall arcing story, or is it the environments? Because I want to know what's my strength. Because I already know what my weaknesses are. Lord knows.
Hold on, I gotta think about this one.
Right.
Your characters are spot on. I love the characters. Like, even Half Sleep Me dies when it's just you burst out with some random ass, like, flamboyantly some character you got brewed up somehow. And yet you can build a world and tell a story, which I like. I will say I wouldn't say you're bad at improvising, but you get your mind set on one thing and you want us to get there. So when we go to do that, which I'm not saying
peek behind the veil. I do want to give a peek behind the veil as to why I'm like that. It's mostly just because I feel rushed as a storyteller because I have to get X amount of this done before I get to basic.
I mean, fair, but like...
If I had more time, I feel like I could be much more, like, free with that shit, but because I have to get from this point to this point before basic, I have to tell... You know how Jay has had, like, over almost 3 years to tell how much of the story he's telling? I have to do all of that in 1 year's time. You see what I'm saying? How, like...
Yeah, but...
I feel like, personally, that issue is the biggest issue, like, what you're addressing, how it feels. And I hate that it, sometimes it does feel,
Forced.
Not forced, not just forced, but like there's a specific term. Diamond-shaped storytelling. I hate that it comes off as diamond-shaped storytelling. Do you know what I mean when I say that?
Not at all.
Okay, so like here's choice A, and no matter if you
choice A or choice B,
you end up
always at one.
Yeah, it's just a matter of how you end up there.
Yeah.
Like how Telltale games, it doesn't really matter what choices you make. You end up at the same place. It's just how you ended up there. Which I hate that comes off that way, and I don't want it to, but at the same time, I just feel rushed Oh my gosh, that double chin on that dude.
He looks like a whole ass squirrel.
Look at the very handsome man.
My dad.
We got sidetracked because we were looking at pictures on the.
We don't need to say their names, but the World Championships for Magic the Gathering.
Mike Lima, Alpha Bravo. If anyone can read the phonetic alphabet, they're smart enough to know who we're talking about.
All right, but yeah.
Mike Lima, you're a very handsome man. Alpha Bravo, I'm sure you have a good personality.
No, he does not look like he has a good one. He looks like he's stuck up. Sorry, not a video. They can't see what we're talking about. Continue what you were saying. Their god died. Don't worry about it.
No, I got sidetracked because I was gonna say something and also about the characters, but I forgot what the phonetic alphabet for J was.
Juliet,
that's what it was. Juliet, Delta, and then Echo, Lima. Did you ever have to... Quick diversion. Did you ever have to sound off your name through the phonetic alphabet?
Mm-hmm.
They did that once just to mess with us. I was like, Private Phipps, sir. Or Private Phipps, Drill Sergeant. I was like, Private who? Private Phipps, Drill Sergeant. Private who? Private Phipps, Drill Sergeant. And then one the guy that was with me, my battle at the moment, he said, try the phonetic alphabet. Try saying that. He was like, try again, Private. And I was like, Private. Papa. Hotel. India. Is it India?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. India. Papa. Sierra. And I was like, all right, next. I was like, son of a bitch.
Cryptic.
Have you seen the post that they spell out things in the phonetic alphabet, and when you take the first letter, like
yeah, I'd be reading it all the time.
Yeah, like Sierra, Echo, November, Delta, Send, and then November. What's the one for you?
I'm not sure.
It's been
uniform.
Uniform, Sierra, uniform.
There it goes.
But military humor. But anyways, so real quick, Jacob's gonna be going to the bathroom, and while he's doing that, I'm going to be working on my radio voice.
God.
So while he's in the bathroom, I'm gonna go back and listen to this, and I'm just curious as to how this voice actually comes across over the mic, because I've been told, he's said multiple times that I have a good radio voice, is what he says, but I don't know if he's just being a smartass, or if he's actually complimenting the quality of my voice. So, this is my radio voice. This is the voice that I would use if I am in a setting where I need to be quiet, or if I am next to some very high-tech radio equipment, blah, 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 blah. These are normal words that I say all the time. He's now coming back to the table.
Justin, how do I smell?
With your nostrils, dummy. You silly goose.
Listen here, little shit.
Oh, easy there.
About unplugged the computer. As a whole, we would have lost 49 minutes and 20 seconds of this beautiful talking we got going on.
Beautiful. Immaculate. Absolutely immaculate.
Anyway, what were we talking about?
I don't know, but I do have a segue.
Segue to what? I feel like we just completely lost track of what we were originally talking about.
Have we ever used segues?
No, we just jump.
Speaking of that, that's usually what a lot of our things consist of.
Yeah, what?
Oh, okay. I did have something else I was also going to bring up. So, I am curious about something.
Is it your sexuality?
No, I am secure.
It sounds like it's about to be a really hard question.
This.
Magic?
Magic the Gathering.
Mm-hmm.
How old is it? Cause
it's old.
Is it as old as D&D? Is my question. Cause I'm curious if it was around that period of.
Here, watch out. We have the internet. We can always ask.
To the internet.
Actually,
Because like Magic the Gathering has always came off as something that was just like, it was, a part of, it created that 70s stereotypical.
Oh, hold on. God damn it. How old
Right
is Magic the Gathering? When you type up MTG, how old? It's made by the same people.
Oh, yeah, it's Wizard of the Coast.
Yeah.
It was made in 1993?
Yep.
Why does it feel older? Is it because it's made by Wizards of the Coast that I feel like it's older?
Probably.
Because they also made D&D?
Yeah, look.
Oh my gosh.
The original D&D was published as a box set in 1974.
Just 3 classes. There was only 3. Fighter, Wizard, and Cleric. 4 races.
Human, dwarf, elf, and hobbit. Yo, is that just...
That's halfling, but back then...
I'm gonna start calling it a hobbit.
You know the whole reason why it's no longer called Hobbit, right?
No.
Okay, I can explain that here in a little bit. But also the fact that you only had lawful, neutral, or chaotic.
Oh,
Those were the only 3?
Yeah,
That's
crazy. When it first came out way back
No,
then.
I know. But just looking at it then, when it first came out, comparing to it now...
Yeah.
I am curious how the difference between comparing a DM from back then to
Yeah, same. I wonder...
like take a DM from way back then and compare it to a DM from now. Yeah. The barkeeper asked why we carried weapons on us in the bar. I said mimics. The barkeeper laughed. The party laughed. The table laughed. We killed the table. It was a good time. You're saving that one, aren't you?
It's beautiful.
Send that to Jay.
Okay.
Or just the D&D chat in general. I just realized something else we could do again.
What?
That
What were we talking about before that? Oh, D&D still.
yeah. But then that just segued into something else. I just remembered we could.
We're not segueing, we're forgetting. There's a difference.
That's stupid. We type in something and it makes a story out of it. That had me in tears.
Yeah.
Last time we did. That was really funny. I'm not gonna lie.
Let's try to separate it.
I still can't get over the fact that there was only. It's crazy that there was only 3 classes when that first started.
Yeah.
Fighter, cleric, and wizard. That's it. You would have thought. I would have thought
But
rogue.
back
would've,
then when you played D&D, you
right,
were worshiping the devil.
But if you told me, if you made me want to guess what the 3 OG classes were, I would have thought fighter, wizard, rogue, not fighter, wizard, cleric. Cause sneaky, not sneaky, magic. That seems to be your stereotypical 3 adventurers. You know,
I don't know, warrior.
Yeah, fighter.
Well, fair enough.
Like, okay, when you look at your
Wizard. Wait, what was it again? Sorry, hold on. Restart that whole statement. My brain just blocked out.
Okay. Fighter, wizard, cleric. That is not the first 3 classes I would have thought. I would have thought it would have been fighter, wizard, rogue.
Yeah.
Because, like, okay, look at Destiny. All right, standard RPG. No, it's not even medieval. It's not medieval at all. It's
Maybe that was their way of like, there's Jesus-y in it.
Yeah.
Here's your gods. I don't know.
One of the funniest like facts was like whenever Doom first came out, and it was like people were like, oh, it's a game. You're worshiping demons. It's a devil's game. You're killing demons. You're not worshiping the demons. You're killing the demons.
There's magic. How do you do that? Where do you get magic from? The devil? Because I don't see God giving you magic.
Oh my gosh.
Explain that one.
Also, what I think is really funny about Doom, though, is the character Doom is apparently a devout Catholic. I found that out. The Doom Slayer, the guy that goes around killing demons, is a devout Catholic.
Well, I mean,
that makes so much sense.
That makes so much sense. By the power of Jesus, I send you back to where you came from.
Loads shotgun with holy intent. But anyways.
What's live PD? If you say I don't know, I'll just ask. I just want to make sure it's not common knowledge.
I guess it's just a show. Live police department? Hell, I don't know.
All right, continue.
I thought that was. What if this ends up being like one of those Joe Mama things or something?
I would be genuinely impressed. I'm not going to lie.
Oh my gosh.
You good?
Yeah.
What were we talking about?
I don't know. Again. Oh. I just want to say, can I get over the fact that your battalion thing? That's an actual picture. That's just. You know what that's from? That soldier walking?
No.
That's from Modern Warfare 2. Or no, I think it's the first Modern Warfare. That's from a video game cover that they just clipped into. I feel like that's just from.
We'll look it up.
Okay. Oh, it's showing the new one. Okay, no, it's not from there. I could have swore that.
No, I do recognize that.
Oh, almost.
It might be a slight deviation. I don't know.
But point is, does that not look like it could just be put on the front of a Call of Duty poster or a Call of Duty
Well,
game?
yeah, I mean, military.
No, yeah, no, it's just it's more clip art. It's the fact that it looks like it's clip art or something like that.
Yeah.
They're copied and pasted from the internet. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, nothing wrong with that.
Getty Images. No, yeah, no, it's just like it's what I thought. Live police officers. Is that the person you were talking about who you were going to try to get into playing Dark Souls?
Hmm?
If we didn't promote Dark Souls, if we haven't already made it clear how much we like that, we love that franchise.
Yo, Dark Souls is a bomb. I kind of want to play some tonight.
I'm not against it. It's mostly just because Dark Souls did a really great job with everything. Game mechanics, storytelling.
We're not going to talk about the second one, but 1 and 2, yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah, Scholar of Sin, I never played it.
I'm not saying it's the worst. I'm just saying.
I never watched it. I only watched Rivers Blue.
Oh, no, I'm not talking about that.
Oh, Rivers Blue was the only actual animation thing that I touched that was made by Rooster Teeth. Because that's technically animation now.
Yeah.
Though it's machinima, which is something completely different.
All right. Let's just have this in the background.
I believe we're running a little on time here. You know, it was because
Yeah, I think it's coming to time to close.
Alrighty, so we just want to say something to
You want to give a final recap?
Final recap. Last Jedi sucked.
Last Jedi sucked. Okay.
I'm becoming on that. Despite Last Jedi suck, I've becoming more of a fan of Star Wars lately. I asked you about D&D stuff because I was curious as to how well you thought I was of a storyteller in general. You informed me about Magic the Gathering. We informed them about us in the future starting a gaming channel.
We had
I like the idea of doing reviews at the end of every podcast.
I too.
Because it's like a memory exercise. We're forcing ourselves to have to remember.
I do remember us trying to get to a bunch of things, and then more of a what were we talking about again?
I discovered that we may have dementia.
That guy looks like a squirrel.
Yes, rest in peace, Alpha Bravo.
He's been roasted.
That's what he looks like. He would say. He looks.
You've
like
activated my trap card. Throws the card down way too hard.
You've activated my trap card. On that note, we're gonna call it.
Makes all the nerds run because he's actually Goliath in his pants.
Y'all have a good night.